Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of historical myths. We'll debunk some of the most common misconceptions and reveal the true stories behind them. So let's separate fact from fiction. Myth 1. Napoleon Bonaparte was extremely short. Napoleon Bonaparte is often depicted as a tiny man with a complex about his height. But in reality, he was around 5 feet 6 inches tall, which was average for his time. The confusion arises from different measurement systems used in France and England, so while he wasn't towering, he certainly wasn't as short as legend suggests. Myth 2. Vikings wore horned helmets. Thanks to popular culture, we imagine Vikings with horned helmets. However, there's no historical evidence that Vikings ever wore such headgear in battle. This myth likely stems from 19th century romanticized depictions and the costumes used in Wagnerian operas. Real Viking helmets were practical without any decorative horns. Myth 3. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. It's a widely believed myth that the Great Wall of China is visible from space with the naked eye. In truth, while the wall is long, it's also quite narrow and blends into the surrounding landscape. Astronauts have confirmed that it's nearly impossible to see without aid. So, this myth is definitely busted. Myth 4. Columbus proved the Earth is round. Many people think that Christopher Columbus set out to prove the Earth was round. However, by Columbus's time, educated Europeans already knew the Earth was spherical. His voyages were more about finding a new trade route to Asia. The myth of a flat Earth persisted mainly in the minds of the uneducated. Myth 5. Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake." Marie Antoinette is often blamed for saying, "let them eat cake," in response to the starving French peasants. However, there's no evidence she ever uttered these words. The phrase was attributed to her decades after her death, likely to emphasize her perceived disconnect from the common people. Myth 6. Einstein failed math. Albert Einstein is sometimes portrayed as having failed math as a student. This is entirely false. Einstein excelled in math from a young age, mastering calculus by 15. This myth probably started to make his later achievements seem even more remarkable. Myth 7. The Salem witches were burned at the stake. When we think of the Salem witch trials, we often imagine witches being burned at the stake. In reality, none of the accused were burned. 19 were hanged, and 1 was pressed to death with heavy stones. This misconception likely arises from European witch trials, where burning at the stake was more common. Myth 8. George Washington had wooden teeth. It's a popular story that George Washington had wooden teeth. In fact, his dentures were made from various materials, including human teeth, animal teeth, and ivory. Wood was never used. This myth likely started due to the appearance of the materials staining over time. Myth 9. Nero fiddled while Rome burned. The story goes that Emperor Nero played the fiddle while Rome burned in 64 AD. However, the fiddle didn't exist at that time. Some historical accounts suggest he wasn't even in Rome during the fire. He was known to have provided aid to the victims afterward, though his overall reputation as a ruler remains controversial. Myth 10. Pyramids were built by slaves. It's commonly believed that the Egyptian pyramids were built by slaves. However, evidence suggests that the workers were skilled laborers who were well fed and housed. They were likely respected for their craftsmanship. This changes our perception of how these incredible structures came to be. And there you have it. Some of the most popular historical myths debunked. History is full of fascinating truths that are often more interesting than the myths. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more historical revelations. Thanks for watching.